Funk. I am Leon Thomas. I am joined by Austin Yorsky and Johnny Maloney.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
You're recording from a rock concert? What was that?
No, that was just, because you guys, this frequently happens when we start recording Word Funk, is it, it's like one of us is ready, or two of us is ready, and then the third person's like, hang on, I'm wrangling a bear.
It's usually you getting a drink. But
I know.
This time it was just me having dinner because I hadn't eaten since like 11 in the morning. So
I'm not, I'm not saying like, how dare you, Leon. It's just that, I put some music on in the meantime, and then the phone call comes up, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, Taco Bell makes fine veggie burritos. It was something I was not expecting.
How
are their regular burritos?
I haven't had them in a long time. I'm on a vegetarian diet, but they're okay. I don't.
Yeah, can you detail the process that led you to getting veggie stuff from Taco Bell? Like, how is that your choice?
Well, and while you're at it too, I'd like to know how much sand is in them.
I don't eat meat anymore, or I haven't for a while. Who knows how long I'll stick to it? But at the moment, I don't eat meat. And
if it makes you feel any better, neither do any of the other people who go to Taco Bell.
That's a good joke, but they actually did. I think because of that lawsuit, they had to lower the percentage of carbon silicate that was in their meat.
Yeah, there is meat there. But the point is, I was on my way home, and the person with whom I share a home presently said, can you bring me Taco Bell? And I'm like, yeah, okay. But I didn't know what I was going to eat there. So I Googled it, and apparently you can get virtually anything that they sell there in a veggie form. So I did, and it was fine. It's not that good for me. It's something that I will eat.
Johnny, are you the only one who's not vegetarian on this show?
I prefer to think of myself as an omnivore, yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
We know Johnny loves meat. I mean, he talks about it quite a bit.
Like, our shared interest is video games, but it's also weird how much, like, synchronicity we also have. Like, Leon and I drink. Like, there's other stuff here that's completely incidental to the inciting action of our friendship. That's kind of creepy.
I like that our friendship is basically a screenplay, the way you described it.
I have a tendency to I say things like that a lot, and people like give me weird looks. I'm like, yeah, your characterization is all over the place right now, Jeff. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do, but that's wildly out of character for you.
Yeah, Austin, I'm not sure that your arc is going to have a satisfying end in this conversation. Oh well. This is the last Word Funk of the year.
God.
or the first one of next year, because I'm probably not going to post it until January 1st. But for us, we're recording it New Year's Eve.
So and Happy New Year's.
Yeah, by the time you hear this. What is the future like? So
cold.
Not where I am. It's temperate.
No, I'm telling you, the future's going to be cold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
It's going to be cold and dark, Leon.
Jesus. Okay.
I saw some crazy shit earlier. Like, right now, the North Pole is warmer than West Texas. I had to find that article again. Like, our ecosystem done be fucked. I don't know if it can be unfucked at this point. It's just too deep in there.
We're not even trying that hard. I mean, let's face it.
Austin, almost anything can be unfucked. You just have to go to far enough lengths to do it.
You just need a strong enough rope to tie to the thing and then winch it out. Yeah, gosh, that's a depressing thought. Let's start 2016 off right and be positive for once, guys.
Okay, well, how was your year? Austin, start. I think a lot of podcasts do year in reviews of the thing they talk about. We just talk about it. This is just an autobiography. So, Austin, your year in review. Go.
Well, before I indulge in that, Leon, I'm going to say this might be a weird episode because this will be the first time we get a chance to talk about Star Wars The Force Awakens. So I was thinking we could flip the format of our normal show, do questions first, and looking over the questions that were sent in today, people asked, like, what was your favorite this of the year? What was your favorite that? So that might be like a self-solving structural problem of this show if we actually just dive into the questions first. You feel?
We can definitely do questions earlier than usual. I mean, what we don't have plans, so
Yes, but that's the thing is that I try to find good opportunities whenever I can, like to just don't let them float past, right?
right.
Just
All
because
right.
we normally suck doesn't mean we have to we have to always suck.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to any questions you want to bring up, or do you just are you dodging my question about
No,
how?
no, I'm trying to combine, I'm trying to Voltron your question onto someone else's question, if that makes sense.
It does. It's weird because I just today for no reason listened to the theme from Voltron. So again, weird synchronicity here.
I like it that you preface that with "for no reason,"
No, there wasn't. I was just for some.
as if like it just kind of incidentally happened to you.
No, I don't mean like someone thrust Voltron upon me. I just mean somewhere in the recesses of my mind, I started thinking about Voltron. There was like it was just, it was a very proof rock kind of moment.
Some are born Voltron, some have Voltron thrust upon them.
I'm sorry. I just like for an image there, like I just conjured up Leon in like Target or something like that, looking at like bulk candies and being like, well, that is a lot of candy. And then for some reason, the Voltron theme coming on over the loudspeaker and him going, well, this is incidental.
No, if you want to hear my stream of consciousness on how I started to listen to the Voltron theme, I was thinking about politics and why like a few members of the two major American political parties who are mostly reasonable can't just get together and convince the other members of their party to just pass meaningful legislation. So then they can just form like Voltron. They're like, oh shit, they're going to shut down the government, again, it's time to form Voltron. And then like five guys who are basically decent just kind of get together and then convince everyone else to do it. And then I started thinking about Voltron, and then I started thinking about that song, I'll Form the Head, and I listened to that too. So that's how my day goes.
Yeah, that was MC Frontalot.
All right.
I'm just interested in the direction that Voltron story went, because I initially thought you were going to say like you were thinking about politics and then just imagine robots just smashing politicians into gooey pulp, just two-fisted walking down Capitol Hill, just fucking pummeling them.
Yeah, my thought about Voltron in politics was very positive. I was like, oh, I wish this could happen. It was not negative at all.
Now I want to go to the civics class that Austin teaches.
All right, so the question, I'm looking at this list of questions here for Twitter, and here's a good example. I'm going to say Neko McEvil asks, what was your most awesome and most disheartening moment of 2015? I assume those aren't like media bound, like not video game most awesome. Otherwise it would have been specified. So like a high and a low point for the year.
Okay. You guys go first.
I would say my most awesome moment was definitely seeing Mad Max Fury Road. Like I came out of the movie like bodily shaking. Like I was calling people. I was like freaking out. It's like a life-changing thing. It's my favorite movie of all time and like an important artistic thing I experienced. And I don't know anything was as exciting as that for me personally. Most disheartening, I went through I don't want to say bad, but I went through a breakup that was pretty defining for my year. I don't know if you could like tell back in like those February, March Word Funk episodes. I wonder if that came through. I'm scared to go back and listen. But that was not a super great time for Austin. So probably my most disheartening moment is that.
Yeah. All right. Johnny, hit us with some feels.
I don't really have heroic, victorious moments anymore. My life has really become nothing but a process of like prolonged disaster mitigation.
Well, you make a really kick-ass sandwich, Johnny, and you're like, yes, this is 2015's best sandwich.
That literally might be the best moment of my 2015 was like.
That's Johnny as fuck. That's the most Johnny thing I've ever heard.
You know, but I mean, even still, a sandwich really was just a fleeting meal. It just
aren't they all? Do you have any lingering meals?
I've had some, but I think that would probably be more a disheartening thing than actually a moment of victory, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I don't know. A high point of 2015. Jeez. Yeah, like I mean, I'm obviously I'm kind of exaggerating, but I had a really mediocre year to tell you the truth. Not a lot of stuff going on that I'm like super proud of, to tell you the truth. Um I managed to kind of rededicate myself to martial arts. I'd sort of let that slip for the past couple of years. I wasn't going as much as I had wanted to, and I started doing it again with a little bit more vigor, some renewed interest. So I was kind of happy with that. That was something that I was really proud of because um, after a certain amount of time, I'm sure you're familiar with this, at least in some regard, Austin. Athleticism becomes a part of you. Like
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a sort of a way of life that you subscribe to, and when it's not there, it feels as though like something just isn't right. Like it feels as though there's an integral part of your lifestyle that's misshapen or missing.
You're just a different person. Like,
Yeah.
at least that's my experience. Like, athletic Austin is just not the same as nerdy Austin. They wouldn't recognize one another.
hmm So that was important to me, that I finally put some time aside to start working on myself a little bit. Um, but like a lot of other things I kind of had trouble with.
So
Although
this was not your year of the year. You wouldn't
I
give
can
this an
I can
award.
I can say this about 2015 is that it was probably the healthiest year that I ever had. Um, ancient listeners of our old BT podcast shenanigans may remember exactly how frequently I managed to fall under the yoke of some horrible illness. To my amazement, this year was mostly bereft of that. So there's that too, I guess. Low points. Low points. Um,
Did you
Mostly
have to,
everything else.
did you have to talk to Sean?
Oh.
Actually, I don't think I did have to talk to Sean this year. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember the last time that he brought me on. He brought me on his show. He asked
So
me
that
to
could be
guest.
most awesome right there. We've turned it around. That you didn't have to talk to him.
Yeah. Okay, that's very possible. Low point. He's probably gonna come after me after he hears this. So.
Sean Cronenfeld, if you're listening to this episode, fuck off. He's never done anything to me.
No, he seems like a perfectly nice guy.
That'll teach him.
Like every interaction I've had with him, with like the rarest of exceptions, has been very positive. So, oh
Yeah,
well.
but he liked Final Fantasy 13, and that is my sole basis for this entire running gag.
I haven't played it, so I can't speak to it. Based on what I know of it, I don't think I would enjoy it, and that's why I've never bought it.
It's not
So-
actually. It's okay. It's whatever. It's not great. Leon,
Oh,
do you have some answers for us? You had a lot of time to think.
I mean, mine's kind of obvious. I mean, I went through a pretty major life change this year. So my low point was the day before I separated from my wife, and my high point was the day after. So, and the day of was just kind of a mixed bag. So that's, my year has been split into two halves, where the first 6 months I was just a miserable, staring into the abyss and the abyss stares back at me kind of guy, for a while. I don't think it's imprudent to talk about this, seeing as how my ex-wife and I are still very, very good friends. She's even staying at my place temporarily. But the second half of the year, when, my life had great hope again, it's been pretty boss. So, yeah.
You have such good character development, Leon.
I went through a change in the second act.
You're so fleshed out. You've got depth and everything. It's great. Yeah, I'm also on perfectly good terms with my ex. I actually, like a couple weeks ago, I texted her and I was like, "Oh man, you should play Undertale. You would really like it." Like 2 days ago, she texted me back a picture of a tattoo she got of the game. This is also the person who I inflicted Madoka Magica on. I talked about that last week. She got a character from Undertale tattooed on her fucking body.
Okay,
What a crazy person.
I have 2 questions about that. Number one, how long has Undertale been out?
A couple months.
Okay. Number 2, is this her only tattoo?
No, she has a Madoka Magica tattoo, a Sailor Moon tattoo, and now this.
Okay. So, okay. I was just, okay, because if that's her first tattoo, that's like a weird thing to commit yourself to, because your first tattoo better be something pretty important. That's when you take that plunge. But if it's her third tattoo, that's like, yeah, okay. I mean, there's lasers now. So,
There are lasers. Johnny purveys them. Next question?
Yeah.
Here's one. I'm curious if you guys can come up with anything, because something jumped to my mind immediately. RedBlaze27 asks, favorite out-of-context quote from 2015? And like that seemed like it'd be a hard question, but something immediately popped into my mind. I was playing Yoshi's Woolly World the other day with a different ex. This don't ask. I have a lot of stuff going on. And I don't know how this happened, but at some point she yelled, "I really want to plunder a treasure chest of dicks." And I don't remember how it got to that point, but that contextless quote will never leave my brain. And that happened this year. So that was a just asked and answered on my part. Do you guys have any contextless quotes from this year?
I don't remember the things that I say.
I remember one time someone asked you, like, what's the worst joke? And you just had one. I think you would be surprised at the depth of your memory.
I have tons of bad jokes. I've told a lot of them.
We specialize.
Right. I can't remember my dialogue from earlier this year or my voiceover monologues. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't think I have one for this.
Oh, if you got to Control F to go through your document, Leon, find that dialogue.
I do. Johnny, anything before we go to the other one, or do you not have one either?
Earlier this year, I was speaking to someone. I was speaking to a friend about somebody I know, and I don't know where this came from, but it was like I suddenly just like something clicked, and I said to him, I was like, that guy is like an unwanted erection in jeans.
That's an evocative mental image.
Well, no, he looked at me like, what the fuck? And I said, he doesn't go away when you want him to. And it doesn't matter how uncomfortable you make it for him, he's just gonna go straight through. I don't even remember who I was talking about.
I love that both of ours were definitely junk related.
Yeah, we're junk related, absolutely.
It's a great line, and you don't even remember what it was about?
I don't remember the guy it was that we were talking about. I honestly don't.
I guess the erection went away.
Very possibly.
Let's just assume it was Sean. It ties in neatly. Next question?
Sure.
Brent asks, is Gorfanax the top power in the Meat Wheel Mythos, or is there a greater power or pantheon at work?
What you got to understand about the Meat Wheel Mythos here, okay, is that it's not like a pyramid, it's not like a hierarchy, nor is it at all like a monotheistic a branch of faith either. It's a
wheel.
It's a wheel, like there are things that act as supports to the wheel, and then there are the outside of the wheel that bear the brunt of it, the universe kind of rolling along the ground, right? So Gorfanax is really just one crucial part of the meat wheel. Okay. And he does have his opposites. While Gorfanax is on the ground supporting the meat wheel against the hard grinding sensation of the universe, there are other powers that soar high in the sky above him, but like the pendulum which swings back and forth, soon those powers will be ground under the weight of Gorfanax.
Okay.
Are you just reading the scripture now, Johnny?
Here's how I see it. Gorfanax is not like the main god of our completely made up bullshit that we're making up on the spot. He's just the most well known one. He's like Cthulhu in the Lovecraft mythos, even though he's actually a lesser being. He's not like Azathoth, but you know, that's how I see it anyway.
I mean, Dice Funk is canon in the Funkoverse. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I think that whatever's behind the machinations of season 1 is probably a Meat Wheel Mythos creature. And it'll be up to Johnny, obviously, to confirm or deny that in the future at some point. But if you're looking for like a concrete answer of like a name for something else that's on the Meat Wheel, that's probably coming up there.
Okay. Guy, long story short, too long didn't read. None of this is important. We're just, it doesn't mean anything. And
You realize you just summed up the whole show, right?
Right, that too.
Okay.
All right, next.
Let's see here. I got some comments, not really questions. Creature says, "No question for me this week, but I wanted to say thank you for all the ones you answered." That's really nice, but
thanks, Creature.
You have to consider that we should be thanking you because we don't know what we're doing, and your questions give us something to do. So really, you're doing us a favor. It's not something you need to thank us for.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Becky asks, says, it'd be nice if you could talk about Bible stuff more often. It's really super interesting and has great comedic potential. I like that people want to hear me dunk on Jesus. That's good. Just like post up on that beardy guy. Just fucking jam on him. LeBron James, that carpenter fool. That's good stuff.
Yeah. I think my show, not this one, but the main one I do, probably references Jesus more than anything else at Channel Awesome, except that one show that's explicitly about religious movies. So, I got that going for me. It's just directors keep putting Jesus into their movies or Jesus parallels or metaphors.
Well, it's really the most common symbolism in the Western canon, so it's not surprising.
No,
I think it's pretty fascinating there, Austin, that you're just making a big deal about running rings around a dude with holes in his hands on the basketball court.
I would assume this is pre-crucifixion Jesus I'm dunking on. It's some kind of bad sport once he's been nailed to the cross. That's just poor sportsmanship.
How much of this will stay in the show? I don't know.
Hey, I didn't know. I just, I wanted to clarify here because I thought we were talking contemporarily here. I thought we were talking contemporary Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
See, the thing about Jesus is if you play him in basketball, he could win instantly because he's Jesus, but he probably would play fair. So you might be able to beat him.
Yeah, he would self-handicap. I don't think any of this is sacrilegious. I just think it's funny. Jose Espinoza asks, favorite Star Wars alien? And then follow-up tweet, if I had to guess, I'd say Leon's is Wookiee.
Nope.
Austin's is Zebrak, and Johnny's is Blue Elephant. Let me Google Zebrak.
Mine actually is Max Rebo, who's the blue elephant they're talking about, but he's not really a blue elephant.
Zebraks are Darth Maul's.
Okay.
Darth Maul is pretty fucking gangster. I really like his design. I don't know if he's my favorite. I think I've gone on record saying I don't think Star Wars is particularly great sci-fi. So it's not like I'm in love with any of their creature designs. Twi'leks are pretty cool.
Yep. Johnny?
Oh, Sarlacc.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so, oh dang, we can't do this one. This is a similar question to one we got last week about Madoka. Someone sent us something about the game, or is it a game or an anime? It's a bunch of cute anime girls, and they asked us questions about it, but none of us have any experience with that, so sorry. AMW2663 asks, what's the best kind of pizza you've ever had in your life? Do we have strong pizza opinions?
I used to have like brick oven pizzas from a place called Bertucci's. It was pretty good, but Yeah, it's pizza's. It's just stuff I put into my face.
I had Chicago deep dish pizza in Chicago. That's probably the best, but I was like
Oh.
12, so I don't like remember the name of the place or anything, but that's the best. I know some people have like really strong like Chicago versus New York opinions, but it's all like cheesy bread to me. Johnny, you're a connoisseur.
Yeah, actually, there's this place in the town where I went to school, which
New
was
Moosington.
called which was called White Rock, called Emilio Finati's Pizza, and I believe last year, I think it was in 2014. I'm trying to remember what it was. He went to Las Vegas and cooked at the World Pizza Competitions there. And last year I think he took home third place. But I think this year he may have hang on, championship.
So I just learned there's a world championship pizza cooking contest. That's new information.
Yeah. And I think for 2015 he took home the gold, but I can't recall.
Wait, why is it in Las Vegas and not like Italy or some shit?
Because Italy would never like stoop to that level where they're like, "Brr, yeah."
Is that your Italian accent? Is that what you think Italian people sound like?
No, dude, that's my Las Vegas accent.
Oh, Christ muffins. Here's one just for you, Johnny. Are you ready for a personal question?
Okay.
This is a hard-hitting one.
All right.
This is Wheezing Shark NHR asks, has Johnny watched that owl movie yet? Which I assume is the Zack Snyder owl movie.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before.
Johnny goes silent.
Was that what was that? What was that? Was that like Guardians of
Legend of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole?
Right, Guardian of the Legends.
I just googled Zack Snyder owl in case you're curious. Yeah. So that's a thing that exists. Someone once a couple episodes asked like what would be MST or Mystery Science Theater if we could riff on something. We would just have to go through the oeuvre of Zack Snyder. That's the only way we get out of this alive.
I can't believe he's going. I'm sorry. Is it called Guardian of the Legends?
Legend of the Guardians.
I'm sorry, Legend of the Guardian. It just sounds like the most generic fantasy movie name.
There's a video game that came out, I think, this year called Legend of Legacy. Like, who gets paid to name these? Pay me, I will do it. But yeah, we have to get 300 Watchmen and this gosh dang owl movie under the microscope. Sucker Punch and Man of Steel feel like low hanging fruit, but we probably crush those bitches too.
So the answer is no.
Are you going to?
Nope.
Is that in your queue? You queuing that up?
Nope.
I don't think Leon and I have seen it either, but that one for some reason was specifically for Johnny. I guess for the Zack Snyder.
Probably.
Rage. People trying to rile you up.
Yep.
I can't wait to the sequel, Journey to the Quest of the Myth.
Revelations.
Yeah.
Okay.
The lock on the door between two worlds.
You have to give it you have to give like a bullshit made up word in there somewhere. Like those, like the Artanelico game series, they always just make up words in the title. Like that makes it sound mystical.
Yeah.
New question. JM Balls asks, I like Equilibrium, even though I know it's garbage. Do you guys like something that's considered garbage? Kroll. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I was going to say Drakengard, which I have discussed at some length on various shows I've been on. Hot garbage, the hottest. Steamy garbage. I adore that stupid series. Johnny.
Yeah, I probably, like, nothing's jumping to mind right now. There's probably more than just one movie in my collection that somebody would look at and go, oh God.
You have such refined taste. I don't know. Sully yourself with garbage.
Nah, not necessarily. I mean, I prefer to think of my taste more as esoteric than refined.
Yeah, you know what? Someone who would say that is a refined person.
No, I think. Let me wander over to my DVD shelf here, just or at least one of them because I can't get to the other one. Repo Man, Rashomon, Seven Psychopaths. No,
Welcome to Johnny Reed's.
Spinal Tap is pretty good actually. So,
Leon, did you get any questions you wanted to throw out here while he's reading?
Oh, tons. Austin, Andrew says, "Why does Austin sound like Tina from Bob's Burgers?"
Do I?
Wait, not just now when your voice went high, but when you talk normally.
Is that a consensus? Do people think that?
I it's the first I've heard of it, but once it was said, I can't unhear it.
Johnny,
He's still doing other stuff. It's much like when you told me that Johnny always says "at this point in time," and I
never fucking unhear it, right?
I never noticed it before, but now that you mentioned it, it's like, oh god, take a shot. He did it.
Yeah. Oh man, is it Johnny's thing? Now I'm like super self-conscious about my voice. Although, I mean, look, I like Tina from Bob's Burgers. Like that show isn't like phenomenal, but she's a pretty fun character, so that's not the worst thing. But that like now I'm being really particular about the way I'm talking.
The little NG that could said, if you could take a movie and replace all the real guns with Nerf guns, which movie's plot would change the most? I would have to say The Deer Hunter.
Oh my god. Well, you just went right there, didn't you?
Yeah. The end.
I mean, wouldn't any movie with shooting?
Right, but I just went with the dumb answer.
I mean, that's the funniest answer.
Thank you. Johnny's gone.
What was the question?
The question was, if you could take a movie and replace all the real guns with Nerf guns, which movie's plot would change the most?
JFK.
Yeah.
Okay, was that an answer to garbage that you like, or were you just throwing out one of our presidents?
That was an answer to what movie would change the most if all the guns in it were replaced with Nerf guns. JFK.
Fuck, that's really funny, and I fucked it up.
As far as garbage goes, I got a thing for like old John Woo movies,
Okay.
Like Hard Boiled, The Killer, fucking A Better Tomorrow 2, but not A Better Tomorrow 3.
Johnny, do I sound, because someone said, I don't know if you were here for this, do I sound
heard Tina from Bob Burgers? Yeah.
How?
Just only a little.
Only when you dip into your lower registers and go completely monotone. Like when you get serious about a discussion, your voice kind of drops to a certain level, and you just sort of talk at this level, and then that's it.
I do 2 hours of podcasts a week. Why would you put this bad juju on me? Now I'm not going to be able to do any of my shows.
There's nothing wrong with it, Austin. There's nothing like, I don't know why it would be a problem. I sound like, as we have discussed in the past, like some weird mutant child from an unholy weddling of like Gonzo and Marge Simpson. So
that does make me feel better.
Austin, I think it works also because we talk about butt so much.
That's true. No, like I said, I'm not upset about the character comparison. I think Tina's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm just self-conscious about the voice thing. Do you have any other questions?
I have tons. One says, why is Johnny so attractive? And even more so in a dress.
That's a good question. Scientists will debate this for years after he is gone.
Yep.
It's a mixture of. I just want to come back here and just settle something that we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
Yes, in April of 2015, Emilio Finati Pizza came with the title of World Best Pizza at the Las Vegas International Pizza Challenge.
Oh.
I like when we tie up dangling plot threads in our conversation. That gives a great sense of like satisfaction and closure.
This is just I am serious about my pizza. He's made some of the best pizza I've ever had in my entire life. So.
Okay.
All right. Why am I so attractive?
Yeah. Is it inherent or did you work at it?
I had to work at it.
Okay.
I had to work at it. I mean, there's a certain amount that you have to be born with, I suppose, when you're talking about anything that you're good at.
Yep.
But yeah, I did. I worked at it really, really hard. When I was a teenager, I was unpleasantly slight. And I'm talking like right up until the age of like 19, 20, I weighed about 110 to 120 pounds.
Oh gosh.
At 6 feet tall. So
how were you even there? Like, two-dimensional?
There were no strong winds around.
Okay.
So yeah, I started to take my fitness actually really quite seriously, which was something that I not so much neglected but failed to be interested in when I was a teenager, because the only exercise that I'd really come across was like, go to the gym. Okay, I'm here now. What? Pick up a heavy thing. Okay, now do it again. When am I done? Maybe an hour and a half.
No, it's when you can't do it anymore.
Yeah, so that wasn't my thing. Neither was running or cycling or anything like that. So it took me a long time to find a method of exercise that motivated me, that made me want to be interested in bettering myself.
Hurting people.
Hurting people.
Yeah.
But only in the name of the defense. And over and above that, there were some serious things that I honestly had to work on socially as well. Like, I'm a bit of a shut-in. So again, when I was a kid, I didn't really spend that much time going out. I was rather shy at parties. I didn't approach strangers. I didn't speak to people. So I had to kind of force myself out of comfort zones and do things like...
That's your loss, Johnny. Strangers have the best candy.
I have learned this.
That's an early contender for the title.
But yeah, so that, and then just kind of growing up too, and learning things like you should have more than just one pair of shoes, and more than just one button-up shirt and one blazer for special occasions. It should be like,
what's a blazer?
Precisely. There you go, Austin. There's your problem.
Also, I only have one pair of shoes.
I have 2 pairs of shoes and a blazer. And
I don't know what a blazer is. You guys are making that up. That's not a thing.
I just bought a couple new suits actually. But anyway, go ahead, Johnny.
Leon, this is the fruits of maturing, the benefits of age.
Yeah.
You begin to understand things like this. Other things too, like not wearing white socks unless you're going to the gym or something,
I own exclusively white socks. Okay, Don Drapers.
All my socks are black. I'm wearing black socks right now.
I'm merely trying to illustrate a point here, okay, that these were things that I did not know. This was not knowledge that was, I didn't turn 18 and then wrapped in a wreath of golden light, angels did not fly down to me with a pamphlet that's like, so you want to look pretty good, huh? Like, these were things that I kind of had to seek out. And in fairness, too, a number of the girls that I dated over the years were actually very, very helpful in terms of helping me come to understand style better. But, like, if there's one piece of style advice that I could give to everybody, it would just be like, you know what? Dress how you want, but own it. Like, don't just, don't dress necessarily only functionally. Like, make it yours, find accessories and accoutrements and things like that that accentuate who you want to express yourself, because that's really all dressing is sending signals to other people about the kind of person you are and the kind of attention that you want to attract. That's all it is, really. And if you're comfortable with the way that you're dressing and the signals that you're sending off to people, that's fine. There's no problem with that, But it was something that I wanted to work on, and I did. And probably it took me a long time to get there. I don't think that I felt attractive, honestly, until I hit like my mid-20s, until I was like 24, 25.
So what? I gotta get black socks now? Is that what the message of the story is?
What you should do is you should get socks that, if you had a blazer, would match the color of the inside of the blazer.
That's just gibberish garbage you're spewing. None of those words make sense in that order, Johnny.
Austin, do you use cologne?
Of course.
Okay, all right. That's a step towards adulthood. Good for you.
I'm not.
I
feel like I'm being.
I didn't know.
I think we just got our 100th episode subject. Extreme Makeover Austin edition.
Okay.
Being put on blast.
It's gonna be very Austin centered anyway. So.
Well, someone help me, save me from the show.
Okay, you want me to do another question?
Yes, please.
Just go to the next one down the list. Okay. Let's see. Best movie / oh my god, this is huge. Best movie / game / TV show / anime, whatever of the year for you that you can recommend. Oh, just pick one thing that you loved this year, guys, and tell us about it. Because
is it one thing or is it like one of each of those categories?
It's too huge. Let's not. So just pick a thing that you want to recommend to people.
But I mean that is the rich vein I was talking about at the beginning, where we'd reach a question that answers those end of year things. So
okay.
I also kind of feel like I've just been answering those questions all year long, though.
Yeah.
Well, now's the time, right?
For me,
dun, dun, dun.
All right. For me, best movie. I already said. I mean, it's in my top 10 favorite movies. Renegade Cut, and you're gonna have to click on it to find out what it is, motherfucker. And
take that.
And game, I haven't played any games that came out this year. I'm playing games now. I'm playing Hotline Miami, but that came out 2 years ago. TV show of this year, I don't know.
Debuted this year or just had new episodes?
I don't know. Bloodline debuted this year, and I like that a lot. I don't know.
Netflix, just Netflix in general.
Yeah. Anime, I haven't watched any anime this year.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
crushed that, Leon.
I think I watched anime this year, but it wasn't from this year. Okay, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Similar to Leon, I do have pieces up on the internet if you want to find out my game of the year. That'll be up by the time this episode is up. It's not currently published as I am speaking, but that's available. I also did a best albums of the year, so if you're curious about my music opinions, Leon doesn't like music.
I don't hate music. I just don't follow it.
He's just not good at liking music.
Yeah, I like the Voltron theme. We know that. So
Mad Max Fury Road, obviously for film. For anime, One Punch Man. I am watching a couple others, but nothing's gonna top One Punch Man. What was the other category? TV?
Yeah.
See, now the police are on to you.
Yeah, always.
Probably Daredevil. If I had to think about it more, I could maybe come up with something else. But I'm thinking of like Netflix had the best new content, and like that was my favorite Netflix show. So maybe Daredevil. Was there any other? You got anime, TV, movie, music.
It says best movie / game / TV show / anime, whatever of the year for you.
All right, so I answered all those except for game, which I have a whole feature out. You can just read it.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Johnny, you want to answer some of these?
All right, yeah. Movie, Fury Road, obviously. Game, I don't know. Real big fan of Pillars of Eternity. But it doesn't really feel like a game that was made in 2015. So maybe on like the offhand side there, Witcher 3. Just because I love the world building. I love the environments. TV show. It might just be that I just started watching it, but I'm really stoked about The Expanse. Like, I really, really like The Expanse.
It still has that new space station smell.
Yeah, it really does. It has that, kind of old, moldy air filter that's been in there for, a few months and needs to get changed out soon while we're all slowly dying of thirst because water is a precious resource. Didn't watch any anime. Music?
Okay, pull up a seat. We're gonna be here for a while.
No, I'm gonna whittle it down to two because this year the two albums that I probably listened to the most were probably Modest Mouse, A Strangers to Ourself, and Elvi's debut. That's 2 words: EL space VY, which is the lead singer from The National and one of the guys from Phenomena. Their debut album called Return to the Moon. It's jaunty and fun, and I like it. It's a good album.
Nice. I just thought of another.
Am I missing one?
Huh?
Am I missing any?
I don't think so, because you don't watch anime.
Nah, not so much anymore.
Gosh. I just thought of another show that didn't debut this year, but I liked a lot, and I don't think I've ever talked about it before. Do you guys know Broad City?
Yeah, I watched one episode and didn't like it.
I thought that shit was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Also, it's the only time I've ever seen in like pop culture, like the kind of people I'm friends with, just like stoner ass.
That's
like,
why I hate it.
Jewish women. Like that's like all of my friends.
I didn't say anything about Jewish women. I'm just saying, but basically, how do I put this? People who like to like have fun and party. That seems like what the show is about. I hated it.
No, they're not. That's the thing, though. They're not party people. They're like weird, awkward nerd people, but they're millennial. So there's like I mean, I don't want to like.
I just hate your age group.
Yeah, I would say it rings true to my experience in a way that maybe not to you older folk.
In the words of Julius Caesar, "Get off my lawn, you stupid punks."
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that was probably a, a fool's errand to try to sell you guys on that, but
yeah.
I wouldn't mind watching it, but I'm not sure that I have access to it. Whenever a TV show becomes popular in the United States, I just take it for granted that I can't watch it legally.
Okay.
Guys, I don't know if we've been talking the whole time of the Skype call, but 50 minutes.
Rick and Morty!
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Rick and Morty. Sorry.
Yeah, this year's been good for cartoons. So Rick and Morty, Adventure Time, and
Steven Universe,
and Gravity Falls. So
how did we not think of? I guess because I was trying to limit it to things that debuted this year, so I passed over a lot of those.
Yeah,
in my brain.
2015 was a banner year for cartoons.
Yeah.
Do we have any more questions?
Let me look at my dealie. Nope, that's it.
Okay.
All right.
Well then, boys and girls, come with me and we shall go to a very special place called Spoiler Town, where all the secrets of that movie you haven't seen yet will be revealed before your eyes as though by some arcane magic.
Which, let me translate.
Yeah.
We're going to spend the rest of the show talking about Star Wars The Force Awakens. If you haven't seen it and don't want to be spoiled, or you're just tired of hearing about it and don't give a fuck, we'll miss you. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, we gave you
we
gave you like 50 minutes. That's almost a full-size episode already. So you can bail now. But we all saw it eventually, and now it's finally time to talk about it. I liked it.
Yeah, let's just jump in.
Me too. I liked it as well.
Good. Austin, did you like it?
Not as much as you guys.
Okay, but did you dislike it?
No, it's like a solid like 7 or 8 out of 10. I liked it. It's
Okay.
the worst. It's the worst movie I saw in theaters this year, but I only saw It Follows, Mad Max, and Star Wars, so that was pretty stiff competition.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
That's not losing to like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grand Tyler Perry's Medea's colonoscopy.
If I ever came on here and said a Medea movie was better than any Star Wars, even the prequels, would you guys please call the police? Because I'm being held at gunpoint.
I would not call the police. I would probably call a local like sanitarium.
That's my safety word.
All right. Hold on. We all make fun of this Medea thing, but who among us has actually sat through one of them?
Not a whole one. I've seen bits of it on TV.
That doesn't count.
Okay, then no.
All right. Okay. So if it got so bad you decided to change the channel, then
No, all right.
Leon,
Okay.
I gesture at you vaguely in your direction because sort of east in a south manner is that way.
What I'm trying to
That's
say.
the wrong way. There we go.
What I'm trying to say is that I don't think any of us have ever bought a ticket to see one of these movies. People just like to make fun of them, even having not seen them. Now, that being said, I'm not going to. But
Leon, have you ever been stabbed? I bet it's not great, right?
Well, no, but I've had okay.
I mean, I have been, and it's not. That's spoilers. It's not great.
Okay.
But I'm just saying you don't know, but you assume and you feel pretty comfortable.
Okay.
With that assumption. Star Wars.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Everybody's been talking about it for weeks. I know a lot of people are like tired of it, but I think we might have some perspective in that we've let it cool a little bit. Like everybody was like rapid fire coming out trying to be first and
hot takes.
Yeah, the hottest of takes, molten takes, really. And I feel like some people let the hype get a little cloudy up in their shiznit.
Our take is like a cup of coffee that you've set just like aside for long enough, and then you're like, that cup of coffee is like perfect.
Yeah, you like put it down and you went and did another thing and you almost forgot about it and you like ran back and you're like, oh shit, oh okay, it's good, it's fine.
Yeah, but it's still warm and it's just like you can just like shotgun that shit and it's like thick and like I don't know if you take your coffee with cream, but like however you take your coffee, it's
Oh my god. So
I take my sugar with coffee and cream.
Just like give me more of that. That's what this take is.
all right. So anyway, I saw Star Wars: The Force Awakens and waited in line. I mean, I bought tickets ahead of time, but I still had to wait in line in the cold because just for the doors to open.
Leon, let me hit you with this, okay?
Yeah.
Halfway through the day before it came out, I went and saw it at 1 a.m., right?
Right.
Someone sent a text when my friend group was like, okay, I got us tickets. I was like, oh, I guess we're going now. And then later I got a text. This was to the whole friend group that simply said this: Han Solo dies. So I went into this movie being like, wow, I'm just going to, that was a good joke. Hilarious that you pretended to spoil it for us. I'm just gonna have it. I knew in the back of my mind it was real, but I spent the whole time being like, man, if he died, that would be really funny, right? Like, haha, oh fuck, here, oh no, here it comes. So, like, I don't want to say it ruined the movie for me, but that's maybe something to consider when I say I don't like it as much as you guys, because I definitely did get spoiled.
So what you're trying to tell me is you have one less friend.
Or what you're trying to say is you have one asshole friend.
Definitely.
Seriously, that person I would like block them from my Facebook and my life forever if they did that to me.
I was like, I said you were lucky I wasn't like physically with you because I would have smashed your phone. But like, obviously, I'm not gonna. Like...
Why did that person do that? I feel a little transfixed here. But why was that? Did that person think that was okay?
I have a couple of friends who are just fucking assholes. They just are.
Maybe it's time to cut the cord there, Austin. That's part of growing up too.
Maybe after the lease is up.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, I went in and I mentioned this in another video I made recently, but I cried a lot, and I felt really good that something could affect me like that, and I don't care that a lot of it was nostalgia, like that someone like got like really in my face about it. When I said how much I liked this movie, it's like, you just liked it because of nostalgia. It's like, you know what? You know what's also nostalgic? The Phantom Menace. I didn't cry.
In your face or in your e-face?
In my e-face. The point is this. It's not that it was nostalgic. It's that it was nostalgic and good. If it had been nostalgic and bad, it would just be The Phantom Menace. And that did not make me feel good or make me cry in a good way. It just made me think, oh, that wasn't what I was hoping for. And this was back a long time ago, before I had taste. And even then, I was like, oh, no. So
you knew right out the gate that the Phantom Menace was garbage? Because when I first saw it, I was like, Duel of the Fates was sweet, Darth Maul was sweet.
You were really young though when you. I
was.
It. You were a wee tot. Whereas
how old was I?
It was 1999.
I was 9. I was 9.
I was about on my way out of high school, so I was still fairly young, like a minor. But I was old enough to realize that this was not as good as the other 3 Star Wars movies. But anyway, not the point. The point is that the movie is more than it's just nostalgic, and it's more than it's just a rehash of Episode 4. It's that it was good. And when people say, "Oh, this is just a rehash," first of all, nothing is original anymore. So get the fuck over it. Everything is just a remix, and that's okay because that's where we've gotten to in society, and that's okay.
That's not good enough for me as an explanation for it being a remix, but I'll tell you what is.
What?
That I don't trust J.J. Abrams to do anything more than that. Like, if he had tried to go off in some kind of new, strange, bold, lost direction, he would have fucked it up. So, like, what he did was perfectly, like, safe, and I feel like that's the best thing.
He
like,
JJ'd it.
He JJ'd it pretty good. In fact, I would go so far as to say this is my favorite J.J. Abrams film. I mean, I liked Super 8 quite a bit. But, yeah, I mean, I guess I like this more than his other work.
And I think it's important that they get the remake / like homage shit out of the way, like so that Rian Johnson, one of the most talented people in the industry, has like carte blanche now to like actually go hog wild.
You know that dude is gonna fuck some shit up. He's gonna go in, sleeves rolled up. He's gonna have his mean glasses on, and he's gonna be like, "Okay, motherfuckers, what did you think Star Wars was? 'Cause it ain't that now."
I'm looking forward to episode 8. But all right. Look, maybe I'll stick to this one just for now. Look, here's the thing about Star Wars Episode 7. It has launched my ship so hard for Poe and Finn.
I'm surprised it took us this long to get here. Yeah, the movie was super gay.
Yeah, as soon as like when Poe is like, "I'm gonna call you Finn. That's your name now," and Finn's like, "Okay, you just named me like I'm your pet." And he doesn't say that. That's basically what he does. But he's like, "Yeah, I'm cool with you naming me." And it's like, all right.
Attractive stranger.
Yeah, thanks. And then it's like all the stuff that was happening. I was like, oh my god, I love them together so much. And when they like, and it wasn't me, and that's what made me feel so good. I came home and I was like, oh shit, there's fan art. It's great. Everyone loves this ship.
Well, didn't Oscar Isaac even go so far as to say that he was like, yeah, when I got the script, I was like, I'm playing this romantic.
Yeah, and then John Boyega like was sitting right next to him as he said it, and he's like, me too. So yeah. It's I mean, it's not canon yet, but it's not our imaginations.
Well, let's be real. It's probably not going to be canon ever because it would be too much of a risk of offending Middle America to make it text. I think subtext is probably safe because those kind of people can't read.
I think Ryan at the like in episode he's writing but not directing episode 9. So maybe he'll like throw in like one little kiss.
There's gonna be a scene where one of them needs to be resuscitated by the other.
Okay.
Aww.
And it's gonna like, there's gonna be some slow motion. And like just a little bit of like skin glisten, like they're a little sweaty.
Okay.
And that music is gonna be like
to me. Okay, to me the best case scenario that's actually that almost might happen in my mind. They're like in episode 9, they're like about to die, and then they just talk to each other in a very bro-ish way, and Finn says, I'm in love with you, right? And Poe says, yeah, me too. And Finn says, okay, so we gotta live through this. And then the scene just cuts, and that's all we get, and that would be fine. And I feel like that is I don't know, 4 years from now, that's not impossible.
As much as I love this manly love fest, I think this is a good time to like segue into the fact that like one of the main goals of this movie was to pass the torch to like the new era of cast members.
Sure.
And they did a pretty good job of that. And I think the movie lives or dies by the charisma of the new people. And I think they nailed that like in casting. I think
yeah.
Finn and Poe are great, and obviously Rey. And this is where I'm trying to lead us to this. You guys obviously have heard about this.
Oh, I don't give a shit, but you can do it.
Do you have any thoughts on the controversy? Nope. No? Okay.
No, I don't give a shit.
What controversy are we talking about?
It's a non-controversy, and that's why I don't care. But you guys can do it.
I'll just say it, and Johnny, if you want to spit some game, everyone on the internet is arguing about whether or not Rey is a Mary Sue.
This.
Yeah.
I would argue that she is, but it's not a big deal because so is Luke. They're just two rando desert orphans who are force sensitive and super good pilots and super like attractive and charismatic, and that's just a Star Wars thing. Like,
okay,
it's fine.
They're obviously setting up some actual history in Rey's character. Like, she's a bit of a blank slate in this one, absolutely, but they've set it up. They've got an outline going on. We've just had the introduction, like I very optimistically, when I saw The Phantom Menace, my response when I went out of the theater was, well, let's see how the other two movies go.
Mm-hmm.
No, I feel like that really applies here, specifically.
Well, they had to build like 8 new characters. I think they did a pretty commendable job of giving any of them depth, considering how much screen time they had to share, but Leon?
The problem I have with this debate is that it misunderstands what Mary Sue means. Mary Sue means someone that the writer is saying, oh, this is the one. They're projecting themselves upon the character and making them a greater version of themselves. What Ray is trope is the special, and that's what this is. If Ray is a Mary Sue, then that means she's Lawrence Kasdan's Mary Sue, and I don't believe that. So. No, she's a character who has special powers, and the audience can imprint upon her, but that's a different thing.
Yeah, maybe Mary Sue isn't the best word for it. That's the one people are using. But
Right,
I guess the idea is she the special for no reason? And like, yeah, so is Harry Potter. Everyone loves that shit too.
Right, it's okay, and she has enough depth that she's not just she's not just Superman, so it's fine.
Yeah, she's not a collection of superpowers. There's something going on there.
Right.
Yeah.
That they very deliberately alluded to as well in like flashbacks and.
I'm surprised by how many people I saw being confused by those Force flashbacks. Like, they seemed pretty explicit and clear to me. Like, did you guys have problems with those? Like,
Not especially.
It meant that she has some connection with the Force, and the greater details of that will be learned later, probably.
but I'm saying, like, people didn't get that was, like, Luke and the Knights of Ren and stuff, and, like, the betrayal.
People
like,
are dumb. I don't know.
Okay. I just wasn't sure, like, if there was something I was missing, because people seemed confused about that. Anyway, do you guys want to praise it some more, or do you want me to bring my issues out so you can knock them around?
I think it was really, really good, and I enjoyed it. I mean, there are valid complaints to say about it. It just will not in any way affect my enjoyment of it.
And I wouldn't do that to you if I had it. If it was within my power, I wouldn't take that away from you.
No, go ahead. I can mention some things that were not good about it, but they are so they just pale in comparison to how much I enjoyed it, so that I don't care. But go ahead. Go ahead.
The plot is enormously reliant on coincidence. Like, they just happen to run into the Millennium Falcon, then they just happen to run into the person who takes them to where Luke's lightsaber is. Like, there's a bunch of stuff like that where when I first brought this up, my friend says, well, the Force exists and it has a will, so it's just guiding them together. But do you feel like that's in the spirit of the Force in the other movies, that everyone just comes together?
It's tremendously convenient, absolutely. I can agree with you there, but I don't think it's out of line for Star Wars.
I feel like it's narratively justified by the existence of the Force, but I find it narratively unsatisfying when people run into each other in space. Like, the chance of running into someone in your own town is like astronomically low, let alone a whole planet, let alone a solar system, let alone a galaxy.
Look,
like,
in Empire Strikes Back, Luke is doing a handstand and lifting a bunch of rocks, and then freaks out because he's like, "Oh, holy shit! I need to go to Cloud City."
Yeah, so I said the Force is an explanation, but don't you find it from a writing perspective? Like, let's forget about fiction, just about the mechanics of putting pen to paper. Don't you find that cheap?
Oh no, it's incredibly convenient.
Okay, Leon, do you have a defense?
No, I don't care.
Okay, cool. Leon, you're my favorite. Here's issue number 2. Okay. The Star Killer base makes no gosh dang sense. None at all. How is it absorbing suns? Is it a vacuum? Does it have a suction attachment? Is it the Force? Is it fucking magnets? How do they work?
It never even crossed my mind.
This is why I like. If you were asking these questions of The Expanse, I'd be like, let's have a conversation about this. But You're asking these questions about Star Wars, and my response is, laser swords!
And okay, I'm willing to suspend a lot of disbelief, right? Like, I accept space wizards. I accept just all the bullshit with, like, the different aliens all breathing the same atmosphere and all speaking the same language. Like, okay, I'm, like, on board. But I'm saying the Star Killer base is a step beyond. Like, it doesn't even try to come up with an excuse of how they're absorbing stars. Like, what that energy would catch the atmosphere on fire and the whole thing would go up. How are they even...
Dude.
Yeah.
The new Star Wars is thirsty, that's all.
But you say magically, I would accept that if they showed, like, a bunch of Sith standing around the pit, like, pulling it down or something. But they don't. It just gets sucked up by nothing. Like,
But we haven't... Look, there is no technical manual for it in the movie, but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't... Look, it doesn't matter what it wouldn't work, but what I'm trying to say is they don't even try to explain how it works. If they tried... Look, let me put it to you.
Laser swords!
If they had, like, a 5-minute scene where the ginger Nazi tried to explain in great scientific detail why it would work, and like Lawrence Kasdan really thought that he had the science down, but he was super wrong, then we could have a conversation about this. But no, the story was, oh, there's like a big ball in space and it can like take out suns and shoot them at people. And it's like, oh, cool, neat.
That is the best they could have done with it. Like, if they had to have the Starkiller base, just not addressing it is the best move, because otherwise you're going to midichlorian yourself.
Right. I feel like Star Wars works best without greater scientific explanations. That's when they always fuck themselves.
Yeah, definitely under-explain rather than over-explain. I'm just saying the very concept doesn't work, and it bothered me.
Neither does the Death Star. Come on.
Well, I could buy the Death Star because it showed a bunch of lasers shooting around, and then you think...
No, I'm
think,
sorry.
okay, the laser hits the planet and the energy catches the atmosphere on fire. That's a real thing that can happen. And then the heat just blows it up, right?
Apparently, canonically speaking, the Death Star is a giant lightsaber.
Fine.
Okay, lasers.
How does that make you feel, Austin? Huh? Do you
Makes
like
me
that?
feel
Having
great.
explained to you? Giant lightsaber.
Well, let me hit you from this angle, guys. The Starkiller base, in terms of Star Wars canon, kind of feels weird when the Empire put all of its massive resources into building one. It got blown up. And then they tried to build a second one. It got blown up. And then the Empire like disbanded it. And then they built something that was 5 times better using only the ragtag remnants. And then nobody knew it was there. Does that not bother you?
That's because it doesn't have to fly around. The Death Star had to fly around.
Mm-hmm.
The Starkiller base does not, because they say at some point in the movie that it can fire these bolts of energy through like hyperspace.
Yeah, but so that saved on construction cost and manpower? Like, that was the difference? I just find it like fiction breaking.
It seems like they also used a planet that was already there too.
Yeah,
so.
they like mined out a planet. I'm just saying technology advanced that much in 20 years, and it wasn't a big deal that the First Order, who's like a bunch of like basically hero worshipping wannabes, were able to pull off something way more than when they controlled the entire galaxy.
Look, maybe Emperor Palpatine just didn't have the imagination. He was like, no, let's try that thing we did last time. Only this time,
bigger.
We'll do it better.
Right? No. That's what I was going to try to say. The Death Star in A New Hope is about the size of a small moon because it is confused as one. But the Death Star in Return of the Jedi is much bigger and I mean seemingly a lot more powerful. So and that's only over the course of like a few years have passed. Now 30 years more since it's been over 30 years. They grew exponentially. They found out how to make a bigger one, and it had a special move. It had a new finishing move.
It checked its move list.
I think that makes perfect sense in my head.
I think it's just a kind of silly, arbitrary ratcheting up of the tension, basically. But like, oh, you thought destroying one planet was badass. How about 5? Like, it's just okay.
You're so good.
I'm envious of your childlike wonder. I wish I had that back. For me, it just seemed like someone was like, so let's do a remake of the one everyone likes, but let's just make everything like, extreme.
The weird thing is that as I get older, I become less cynical, which is not the way it's supposed to work. I was actually like a really grumbly teenager in 20-something, but as I get older, I'm like, everything is dumb. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
So
I try.
No, it's fine.
Like I can nitpick some other stuff. The only thing that really bothered me besides that was that Brienne of Tarth didn't get more screen time, and I know they're setting her up kind of be like the new Boba Fett, who kind of just stands in the background and looks cool, and maybe we'll get some development later. But
she's gonna take her mask off before the sequel trilogy is over. I'm sure.
I think she's gonna be a good guy, honestly.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
It just seemed like they brought her in and were like, hey, this is a character that exists. We're gonna use her later, but right now it's just for toys.
She just looks cool.
Like, I would have, like, okay, this is like fan fiction, but I would have given her the role of the stormtrooper with the lightning baton who fights Finn at like the halfway point.
The problem with that
would have.
Here's the problem with that, and I know what you're gonna say, and I thought the same thing too. But here's the problem with that. Phasma should be able to just destroy Finn.
And he kicked his ass.
No. It was pretty even until like one move Finn loses. Whereas I think like Phasma should be like so cool that she should be able to just smack him, and then it would have been over. But instead, we got the stormtrooper with the thing, who I believe everyone is calling Traitor.
Yeah, TR8R.
Yeah, I don't think that's the real name. I could be wrong, but that's everyone loves this character now. So
he's a meme and he deserves it.
Yeah, it's great. I love that every character is awesome. So it's like Return of the Jedi, with like you see one puppet and now it's someone's favorite, like Max Rebo. So
that was something I really liked about the movie. I gotta say, is that like the stormtroopers were a force to contend with.
Oh my god, yeah. Like, I have a ton of good stuff to say about this movie. That's
they weren't
one.
Just goofballs, you know, like they were legitimately like, oh fuck, here come the stormtroopers.
They felt dangerous for the first time, and especially the blasters. Like, blasters in this movie feel dangerous. Like, people getting fucking thrown around rooms when they get shot. It is not something taken lightly, like in the other ones where it feels like they're basically throwing paper clips. But yeah, there's a ton of good stuff I have to say about this movie. Don't make it. I don't want to make it sound like I hated it, but like the way that they used practical effects, obviously not just there's a ton of CGI, but when they could, blending both practical and CGI effects, super good. I thought the leads were really charismatic. I thought the lightsaber fights had a lot of weight. They felt like people who were actually fighting instead of the choreographed like ballet prequel stuff, which was cool when I was 9, but I don't really like anymore.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of good stuff in there. BB-8, who is basically like a focus-tested cute bomb, totally hit. Like it's like I'm such a sucker for him. I know I shouldn't be.
As soon as he like did like the thumbs up lighter, I lost my shit. I love that so much.
But yeah, I mean I do have a ton of praise for it too. I just feel like as the only one who came away like I should be the voice of that. Okay,
no, it's fine. You can be sort of reluctant devil's advocate on it, and that's fine. But I'll say one thing I didn't like about it. Not enough Jawas. Were there any Jawas? If there were, I blinked and missed it.
What about Ewoks? Were there Ewoks? I don't think so.
They gotta save the Ewoks for later, just like Lando Calrissian. They gotta save some of the stuff for later. But I felt like we were on a desert planet. It wasn't Tatooine, but we were on a desert planet, and I just wanted like at some point someone to just pop out and say "Utini," and that would be great. But it didn't happen. More Jawas in episode 8, please. I'm not looking forward.
Jeez, Leon, just because it's a desert doesn't mean they're all Jawas, okay?
Fucking asshole.
Yeah. I do want to say I am looking forward to the next Star Wars movie, which is coming out next year, but not episode 8, the next one.
Rogue One.
And then I'm looking forward to the one after that and the one after that, but less about episode 9 because Colin Trevorrow is directing it. But maybe they'll just rein him in or something.
I hope that Ryan Johnson's going to be on set with a whip.
I hope he just gets fired. I hope he just says, "Ugh, I don't want to," and then he just goes back to not smiling. Yeah.
I'm not super hopeful about 9, but I think 8 has the potential to be the best one. I think like Ryan Johnson and what they've set up here, where like they got the homage stuff out of the way. Like we know the stakes, we know the characters, they have been set up. Like this is the perfect scenario for like the Star Wars adventure. So I actually like that they got the remake shit out of the way. I also think it's important because a lot of people who are growing up now or like teenagers now can't sit through like A New Hope. Like I talked to you guys before. I was dating a woman who had never seen it, and I tried to show it to her, and she was like super bored. It's like people my age and a little younger like don't want to sit through 70s and 80s movies. So I think we kind of need a modern retelling to exist. Not necessarily a straight remake, but what the compromise they went for.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll tell you something I didn't like about it.
What?
At the very beginning, they identified Poe Dameron as like General Organa's best pilot.
Yeah.
Every time he was in an X-wing, I'm like, I could have done that.
No, he was great because Finn said so. He says that's one hell of a pilot. And
he did that badass flip in the thing.
Yeah, he was good.
He did some good shooting.
I'm sorry, guys. I cut my teeth on X-Wing, TIE Fighter, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, X-Wing Alliance. I fucking know what I'm doing. I'm like, Poe Dameron's not all that. He's a handsome motherfucker, and I would fly on his wing, but...
What do you guys think about them doing the trench run again, basically?
The what?
The trench run. He ran
Just-
when he killed
just
the Star
another-
Killer.
Another touchstone, like it was as far as I'm concerned, I'm like, yeah, I know what you're doing. Get on with
that,
it.
yeah.
I wasn't so hot on it. Like some of the things they recreated, I thought were pretty sweet. That one wasn't my favorite.
It's a very handsome trench run.
God, we're so shallow. We're so superficial, guys.
Yeah. Can I get even more shallow with you? When Kylo Ren took off his helmet, and I'm like, yeah, no.
My theater burst into laughter when he took off his helmet, which at first I was like, oh, that's not good. But then I thought about it more, and can we just talk about the psychology of that little twerp? It's perfectly hateable. It's basically what Anakin should have always been.
Yeah, there's a real, they really did amplify the whole concept that he was an angry, petulant. That scene where the two stormtroopers come around the corner walking down the hallway, and then they stop for a second because he's in the room where they were holding Rey, and you can hear the anguish, you can hear the Linkin Park, and then they stop and they're like, "Come on, let's go." And just turn around and walk away. They made it so that people in the universe, in the movie, know that he's a temperamental bitch.
But in a metafictional sense, he has every villain who's come after Vader has had to live up to the legend of Vader. So they made a character who that's his thing. You know what I'm saying? It works so perfectly that he can't live up to it, and it makes him angry and conflicted in a way that I find really interesting. I didn't know it was gonna work. Like I said, everyone laughed when he took his helmet off, and I was like, oh god, he's not menacing. But I was like, he's scary in the way teenage boys are scary.
That's a good point, Austin. I hate his nose.
Leon, you're my favorite.
So, but no, he just has a weird face, and I don't like it. And that's it. But no, I agree with all the other things you said.
It could have been disastrous. If I had been a producer and I saw that that's what they were going for, that's not worth the risk of doing Anakin 2.0 and everyone hating us. No, come back with something cooler. But they went for something more complex and vulnerable, and I think it worked really well. Any other Star Wars opinions, guys?
He named his son after Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
A lot of good in it.
When he said Ben, that was one of my cry moments. There were 7. I had another one right after that, obviously.
Honestly, it was worth it seeing Han Solo get wasted just to see Chewie go Rambo. That was fucking cool.
I was glad that they did that because my first thought when Han took the business end of that lightsaber was I was like, oh shit, Chewie is not. Oh, there he goes.
Here's the thing: when Harrison Ford said a long while ago that if he ever signed on for another Star Wars movie, he would only do it if they killed off Han Solo. He said that. And then when he signed on to do it, I said, oh, well, he's probably going to die in this one. And yet, knowing this, I still wasn't ready for it. And he's not even my favorite character in Star Wars, but he's in Star Wars. And when it happened, I went to see it with my ex-wife, and I didn't realize what kind of sounds I was making as it happened. But she told me after the movie, she said, I've never heard you make sounds like that before when Han Solo died. So I don't know what sound I made, but it wasn't my normal sounds. So
like an elephant seal, probably.
I probably went, oh, because I know I put my hands to my face. I wasn't going to close my eyes, but I was covering my mouth.
Guess who has a new ringtone? It's me.
So, yeah, anyway, long story short, we've gone on for, God, a half an hour on this. I like the movie a lot. And, I understand that makes me a geeky fanboy about this, and that its flaws I can notice, but completely brush off, and that's not a good thing for a film critic to have. But I also feel I don't care.
You would just be lying if you said that it wasn't your favorite movie or whatever. If you were no, I have to remain objective. You'd just be ignoring your actual feelings.
In the video I made about this, I said, this isn't the best movie of the year, but it's my favorite. And here's why. I cried a lot. And that means since this movie affected me the most, it has to be my favorite. And I feel like that's the most honest thing I can say. Were there movies that are like better, like technically? Probably. At least a couple. I watched a really great movie like just a couple days ago that missed the cutoff because I had to get that video out called The Lobster, and I think it's brilliant. But my favorite movie is the one that just reduced me to like a shivering, shriveling mess, and made me feel very, very young again for a moment. So yeah, I liked it a lot. And that's it. Anything else you guys want to say before we go? Because we've gone on for quite a bit, and I still have to edit the last part of the Friday the 13th episode. That's a real pain in the butt to do.
No, I mean, I think that's all I have on Star Wars. We're just doing wrap-up comments now.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to say before we go?
Not really. Besides to read the year-end list stuff I do. I'm going to post links to it on Twitter, Austin Yorsky. So be there.
Do that. Johnny?
Mind your dairy products.
Mind them good.
Okay. Bye, guys.
They'll get away from you if you don't pay enough attention, is all I'm trying to say.
Okay. All right.
Take it away, Seal.